G'day folks, and welcome to this introduction and overview to Kingdoms Forlorn. It's a forthcoming game by Into the Unknown Studios. So this is originally based on, I think, Kickstarter. I backed it on Game Found, and in the recent update they indicated that there was this tabletop simulator playable version available, and of course the rulebook is available on the Into the Unknown Studios website. So here is the Into the Unknown website, here is the game page, and if you click on resources, scroll down to Kingdoms Forlorn, you can download the rulebook here. It is huge, it's about 200 meg big, but yeah, you can download that. So I've downloaded that, downloaded the Tabletop Simulator workshop module, and yeah, I'm going to use this video just to explore it and share with you how it is, what it feels like, what it looks like, what it feels like, some of the components, and talk about how early impressions seem to make it a bit different from Aeon Trespass Odyssey. So Into the Unknown Studios is the company that published Aeon Trespass Odyssey. They recently put Enormity on Kickstarter. You can download the rulebook there. This is their space-themed game, sort of a similar combat to Aeon Trespass Odyssey, but in a sort of a sci-fi ship exploration RPG type of universe. So Kingdoms Forlorn is their kind of medieval theme for this style of gameplay. My first impressions are that it has many similarities with Aeon Trespass Odyssey, but a couple of key points of difference that I want to talk about in this video. So first and foremost, Kingdoms Forlorn is a 1 to 5 player game, so the scope for that additional player. It focuses on this tactical combat against monsters, so your 4 characters, 4 or 5 characters, 1 to 5 characters against these monsters. You'll try to defeat those monsters or the bosses, such as the Egg Knight, a boss enemy who we can see over here. You will gain loot from defeating those monsters. You will use that loot, you'll craft items, you'll develop your characters who are all the way down the bottom down here. All right, I'll talk about these in just a moment. You'll explore dungeons, and of course you will engage in these adventures with a heavy degree of storytelling. So Into the Unknown Studios is very good at their storytelling elements. In my opinion, they strike, for me, a really good balance in sort of good storytelling, depth of adventures with gameplay. So it doesn't sort of overwhelm me with story. It just strikes a really nice balance. So I'm going through some of the miniatures that'll be included in the game as well. Their reports indicate that there is 35% more content in the core box for Kingdoms Forlorn compared to Aeon Trespass. Now, Aeon Trespass Odyssey, the core box was a 20 pound, was it 20 pounds? I think it was a 20 pound box, which, yeah, very heavy. And this is reportedly 35% more. So you're going to get a lot in there, a lot of monsters, a lot of cards. I mean, Into the Unknown love to provide many item cards, and you can see some examples down here. We have the Rusted Shield, and already you can see elements that are common with Aeon Trespass Odyssey. So the use of these combat dice, the use of block mechanisms. I'm guessing this is a hit modifier. We'll talk about that in just a moment. So number of dice you hit, a number of dice to roll, to hit modifier, and damage dice. So this is 2 damage dice for a hit. This looks like it'll be number of dice to roll to hit. So with the shield, you roll 2 dice with a +0 modifier, and for each hit, you'll roll 1 red damage die. Very similar to Aeon Trespass Odyssey, and Enormity uses a somewhat similar mechanism as well. Here we have, for example, a yoke-coated spear, which has reach 2, opening 2. These are opening tokens that you'll place on the boss to make it easy to hit. So this opening 2 means you'll place 2 opening tokens, and the next person to come along and hit, let's say with a Rusted Shield, gets a +2 modifier to their attacks. So the opening 2, full power, you pierce their armor, again opening 2, and there's a lot of these keywords, addle and pierce, which I don't know much about yet. Okay, so let's run through some of the elements of gameplay and the components as well. First and foremost, the bosses are key. So this is a boss battler with an adventure side to it. Much like Aeon Trespass Odyssey, you will engage in this adventure, you'll take adventure steps, and then occasionally you have these boss steps where you'll set up for the boss battle, throw the boss on the map, and try and fight this boss. The boss will have, but what you'll do is you'll draw an AI card to determine what the boss does, such as this card is a sword slash. They'll target the closest knight in front in range, then they'll move and attack that knight. They'll roll 3 dice to attack, and almost exactly the same as Aeon Trespass Odyssey, you'll roll the defender, your knights, will roll dice to try to evade those attacks. And up in the top right corner, so up here, is the number of dice you roll. So this knight is doing, this egg knight is conducting 3 attacks, you can see in the top right, and you need a 10 plus to evade. That's going to be tough. And if you fail, each hit does 1 health of damage to you. And then after the attack, he does what's called a Humpty charge, which I was kind of thought, where is the Humpty charge? I don't know where that is, but that's one of his special abilities by the sounds of it. Traits, Humpty charge, yeah, I don't know where that is. Hard-boiled, that's his routine card, this is his signature card. This might be the Humpty charge. There it is. So the Humpty charge, when triggered, turn to face the attacker, then full move in a straight line, then turn to face the most knights. He does crash, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, basically charges into my knights. Okay, so that's how the bosses work. They're fairly straightforward, fairly intuitive, fairly easy to pick up and learn. Very, very, almost identical to Aeon Trespass Odyssey in its mechanisms and system use, the use of AI. And then, so that's how the boss works. You draw an AI card, conduct their attacks, we try to evade, we can use items to block and potentially re-roll and so forth. And if we fail, let's go have a look at our characters. If we fail, we suffer wounds. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but yeah, we suffer wounds like this. Okay, this is our health down the bottom here. That's bosses. So yeah, as I said, well, I'm jumping all over the place. So we've got bosses, boss fights. We will need to equip these items to defeat these bosses. But this game, it kind of takes some of the core elements of Aeon Trespass Odyssey, and it enhances it. There are a lot more tokens. So here are the opening tokens that I mentioned. All right, so this helps you, makes it easier to hit. Then you'll have break tokens, which makes it easier to wound once you've hit. A lot of the other tokens, I don't know. Pierce, I'm guessing is sort of breaking armor. Fire tokens is similar. Addle token and power tokens, which I don't know much about as yet. The game comes with, so you've got this battle board, which looks a bit slightly smaller than Aeon Trespass Odyssey, but it does come with the familiar terrain tiles. Okay, so this is a slightly different style of art. Okay, but terrain tiles are placed during boss battle setup. The game comes with 59 of these terrain tiles. It comes with, the 1 clash encounter board, which I believe might be double-sided. I'm reluctant to flip it because it might flip the whole thing. It's locked in place anyway. Okay, so I believe it might be a double-sided board. You've got, now where are the dice? Where are the dice? Here we go. So these are the hit die, and you'll always roll this 1 critical die. So if you're rolling with, if you roll 3 attack dice, you'll always roll 3 dice, 1 of which will be a critical. And yeah, if you roll 10 on this dice, or a 0 in this case, you score a critical hit. Once you've hit, you'll then roll your attack dice. At the start of the campaign will typically be red, the basic dice, and you want to hit these swords. Each sword is a hit. Each of these chalice symbols is a potential hit that you can convert into a hit by using the break tokens that I mentioned earlier. So if there's 1 break token in place, that lets you convert 1 chalice, I think it's a chalice symbol, to a hit. Now, how do you know if you hit or not? Okay, so when you attack the monster, if you hit it, you draw a body part. Now, the deck won't be set up like this. You'll have an active deck. These are the decks that you'll draw from for setup. But you'll draw a body part, and it will have sort of an armor rating here. And I don't know what's called in this. I'm working my way through it. Basically, armor of the boss, and you can see here the armor is 2. So you need to score 2 or more wounds. Right? So if that in that roll that I just showed, you scored 1 sword and 1 potential that you broke, that's 2, then you successfully wound this boss. You've wounded his exposed back, and then you do what's called an escalation, and that's where you, let's say this is my deck of current wound cards. I'll add a wound card 1 point higher. So you can see this is that was level 1, level 2, and level 3. All right, so add a slightly more difficult wound card. And basically, as the battle escalates, the difficulty of these cards gets higher. So you can see here, exposed back only required 2 hits to wound. Now his back armor slit requires 4 damage to wound, and at level 3, his inner shell requires 6. So the more you wound him, the harder he becomes he gets tougher basically. But at the same time, you get tougher as well. As the battle escalates, you become sort of angrier. Now I'm trying to figure out what it is called here. In Kingdoms Forlorn, in Aeon Trespass Odyssey, it is rage. In this, it is something else, which I'm trying to find. It's not rage. So these are called. So in this, you are inflicting power. This is power. This is called potential, and then you have symbols of hope as well, which are doves. Okay. There's also some reroll mechanisms as well, so you'll get what are called heat rerolls on your characters. Here we go. Let me try and find the details on what this is actually called. Cannot find it. I'm sorry. Portrait cards. Okay, so let's look at our knights. So here we go, and I guess another what strikes me in Kingdoms Forlorn is how the character development is a little bit more detailed compared to Aeon Trespass Odyssey. They seem to have sort of ramped up some elements of the personal character development. So here we have Sir Sonch. He's a rather bolsterous knight with an oversized ego. At his ancient age, seemingly failed to temper. Aloof, he keeps his distance from others, but is quite affectionate with his monkey companion, Little Sir. The legendary tracker of the Order of St. Clair, he lives in the shadow of the fateful night of those fateful wings. Okay, so you can see a lot of space around here. You've got a delayed section, a sync section, a discard section. He has his little personal attributes. He's got a hand limit here, movement of 4, 10 health, 1 additional red die to add to combat, card refresh 1, refresh 2, endurance, cunning, right? So very distinct, and it's all on this one big battle board. We have the tracker sheet, and this is basically the bonuses that he can use based on, what is it called? It's not, so we've got all these attributes. Okay, so we've got we've got so much. Let's talk about this. This is no, hold on. We've got health. Where is heat? Try to find heat. Never mind about that. We've got so many different attributes now compared. We've got passion. We've got heat. We've got vigor. And it seems to be scattered. Okay, so let me work through it. We've got peril arcs. Okay, we've got so many different unique sort of character development attributes as well. These are our techniques, I believe. So we've got our light side called the clash side, and it's used during the clash phase. We use these techniques with monsters. So if he's on the boss deck, If Little Sir is on the boss body part deck, oh, the monkey, okay, gain one of those things when you escalate to look at the body card. Then when it's on the dark side, no, it's not the dark side. Is that the dark side? Because I still got to see. When you rest, lower the threat level by 1. Okay, so these are, I believe they're I could be wrong here. I thought these were techniques, maybe not. Maybe there are other techniques somewhere else that I'm missing. But you will have techniques, which are special abilities that you use. I'm still trying to find. So you'll use magic. You'll use zeal. So you'll have these resource tokens. And they attract by, I don't know where the magic or zeal. You can see there's so many more tokens here. Pierce, 18 mod, plague. These are terrain tiles. So you can just see there's many, many more components compared to Aeon Trespass. I'm already kind of having trouble finding where everything is. Including the basic attributes. So you've got your night power dice. This is definitely your speed. I've mentioned your hand limit. I think the rulebook seems to have changed a little bit since this was developed because the rulebook isn't matching what I'm seeing here. It's same on both sides. Okay, no worries. Okay, we've got. Okay, so there's a passion level apparently, green. So this must be passion. I think they've just changed the symbol for passion. All right, so passion represents your battle fervor. It increases each time you attack, much like rage in Aeon Trespass Odyssey. And when you increase this, you become a bigger threat, but it unlocks more abilities for you. And heat, yes, okay, so this is passion. This makes your priority target. You don't want this to go too high, and often during battle, much like in Aeon Trespass, you'll be trying to reduce this to keep this under control. Okay, this is heat. Okay, so they've changed the symbol for heat compared to the rulebook that I'm reading. Heat is like your rage in Aeon Trespass. Every time you attack, you increase your heat. You don't want to go up to your limit. I don't know why that's not going down. Kind of lock that in. I won't go down any further. Okay, so it's a bit of a problem with that, but that's how that, oh, there's no little modifier here. But that's how that works. So this is basically every time you attack, you gain heat or rage. And this lets you unlock these special attributes on your tracker, which can cause things like placing break tokens or re-rolling your wound dice or relocating after a combat, things like that. So the more heat you generate, the more abilities you generate and can activate, but you've got to be careful because this can also, you can become too heated. And I believe if it's the same as Aeon Trespass, you die if you exceed your heat limit. Heat. Maybe not. Oh, this is your limit. Okay, so 0 out of 9. That's what it's saying. 0 out of 9. Got it. Understood now. Okay, so yes. What else? This is your wound limit. So when you take a wound, you increase your health over here. Okay, so let's say you take 3 wounds, then you'll draw. Because I've just been wounded. I'm up to 3. I check here. It's in the range of 1 to 3. So I take a. Oh, it starts at 10. It's the opposite of Aeon Trespass. So you work your way down. So you start on 10 health, and I'm wounded. I'm now on 9. So I suffer what's called a minor wound. So I'll look for the. I'll look for the minor wound. Okay, here we go. Minor. No. Yes, this looks like a wound deck. Lose 2 health and refresh 1 card. Yes, minor. So it just looks a bit different. So this can sometimes be really good for you. Place 2 tokens in the night pool. Okay, so taking a wound can actually be good. And it's called, Into the Unknown Studios have named this combat mechanism like reverse something, escalation or something or other. But basically the more wounds you take, you know, you can get really good benefits. Refresh all your cards, or you gain 3, what was this called again? Heat, I think that is, or passion. Heat, I think. Or 3 and perform a bonus attack if you're the Flight Schritter, which is one of the knights. So yeah, combat is very similar, but just more tweaked a little bit, I think. The items look very, very similar. You know, when you attack with a broken sword, you're rolling 1 dice to attack, you get a +2 modifier to hit, and if you hit, you then roll 2 dice to wound. This guy also gets to add an opening or break token, and he gets an attack reroll. So when he goes to roll his 2 red dice, if he's not happy with what he rolled, he can reroll one of them because of that broken sword. The shield, so up in the top right here, the shield here, this indicates a defensive roll. So if you get wounded, you take a red die, and you're trying to roll I think it's a chalice to convert. Yeah, you convert a chalice to a block, so that'll cancel 1 wound. And sometimes they have special abilities here, like a second chance to redraw one of the wound cards that you drew. Okay, so that's their launch. I'll just quickly skim through the other knights. This is Renholder. Magic is fickle, so that's a magic user. What have they got? They've got a Poor Man's Catalyst, spellcaster. So I wonder if there are. So let's look up here. Hand limit 7, so slightly different attributes, I believe. Cunning, wisdom, courage, the rush move, light trespass, to refresh a card. Where does it say he's a magic spellcaster? You can see here his attribute is spellcaster. So he can cast this at unwieldy range 2 to 4, cantrip 1, and he rolls 1 dice plus 1 modifier, blah, blah, blah. Then we have Kara over here. She is a ranged attacker, unwieldy, reach 2, exactly 2, opening 2, so places 2 opening tokens. Rolls 2 dice with a +1 modifier. And then we've got the Fleischritter here, the heavy hitter. He has a rusted 2-hander. He only rolls 1 dice to attack with a -1 to hit, but if he hits, he rolls one of the black dice, which are better. They will have, where are the black dice? The black to hit dice. You can see here they have more swords on them. Alright, so harder for him to hit, but when he hits, easier for him to damage, to actually conduct damage. Where was he? Over here. Okay. And then, yeah, you've got your personal knight sheet as well. So you're tracking, interesting, you are tracking your personal knight on an individual knight sheet. So again, it's more personal attributes. Okay, what else have we got in the game? So knight talents, knight pool, knight tokens, knight gear, which is going to be key here. Lots and lots and lots and lots of different weapons and gear, you know, with these medieval themes. Let's actually look through some of these, because the rulebook does give us a hint, but let's actually browse through. And more, seems to be more like Kingdom Death Monster in the sense of having locations. So the Eggsmith seems to let you build, we don't have final art here, but seems to let you build these items. Egg plate armor, a panzer cloak, interesting, shell helm, and all this kind of stuff. All right, so let's have a look at some of these. Egg greatsword, roll 1 dice, so pretty standard. Again, with Aeon Trespass Odyssey, the items had a very subtle, slow escalation of abilities. So this doesn't seem that much better, 102, compared to, for example, the rusted 1, 2, +2, 2, right? At a glance, it seems a little worse. What makes this better, what may make this better is ability. So this says auto break 2, break 2, power reroll. You can see down the bottom here. So it says like, yes, it's hard to hit, but if you hit, you get auto break 2, which means 2 of those potentials can be converted to hits, and then break 2 for the next person, and a power reroll 1. If you completely miss, you automatically break 2. And if you wound with it, you exhaust it. Now you can see in the bottom left here, they have a cost 85 and 2. So there seems to be like a bit of a market mechanism here. Yeah. Something else is that some of this gear apparently can be enhanced. Now I don't know. Oh, here are the lockable knight abilities. Okay, that's good. Here are the knight arcs. Okay, this is what I was talking about, looking for earlier. So you gain these arcs, and it's kind of, this is who you are as a knight. And yeah, as you unlock these, as you unlock your, not rage, your, what's it called again? I've forgotten. It unlocks better abilities. So you can see how these arcs are slightly better than the default arcs. Okay, so you'll unlock those as well. So gear equipment, gear upgrading. I don't know which gear can be upgraded. Looking around for some gear. What do we get up here? Oh, okay. These look like to be allies of some sort. Or squires. These look like secret decks. Special events, exploration. Okay. Where might all the items be? Probably not available in this preview. Terrain, stuff going on. But yeah, basically the items, some of the items will be upgradable. So the best gear can be made better through upgrade cards and reforging, and they become more powerful. Okay, various keywords are used. Let's talk about the expedition sequence. Okay, so the game Kings of Forlorn is played in a series of expeditions, with each expedition representing one adventure. So apparently there are night books. Read the stories in your night books. Let's have a look. All the books are over here. Here are the prototype storybooks. Let's look through here. I'm not going to go too fast, so no spoilers, don't worry. But you can see there are sections dedicated to each character. Principality of Stone. I'm not going to try not to spoil anything. These seem to be random encounters. Okay, so we'll click through some of these so we don't spoil anything. Then we get to Sir Slaunch. This is his personal storybook. Character introduction. The night is dark, foreboding, blah, blah, blah. He remains calm and hopeful. This is a demo version containing the first chapter of his campaign. Simply read chapter 1 on Black Wings. You can read aloud or summarize it all to yourself. So you'll have your personal story. Each knight in your party, depending on who they are, what chapter of the story they're on, can add their own goals, cards, objectives. No two delves will ever be alike. So then you read your personal story. Chapter 1, special rules. You set up for the delve. Blah, blah, blah. And there you go. Right, so it's, as I said, it's more, rather than being more, whereas Aeon Trespass Odyssey is group focused, a group adventure, and the story talks about your group and the Argo. This is more personal focused. Right, so you are focused on Sir Slaunch. I don't know how that's going to work solo. I don't know how it's going to work solo. But yeah, I'll have to find that out. So yes, you engage in quest. You can roam freely. Wow, there are so many tokens. So let me, as I said, this is just the introductory storybook sample, and it doesn't have everything. But if I zoom out, you can see this is a long table. I don't know why it's so long. Oh, maybe we do. We move it over there. Okay, so we've got like when you're in a delve or an adventure, you move over here. And then we have the place. So this is where we actually explore, much like the maps. I'm not going to spoil anything, so this is just a starting map. Here we can see our party on the crossroads. here's where we are. And obviously there are various elements to this, and wow, there is a lot to manage, a lot more to manage in this adventure phase. In cycle 1 of Aeon Trespass, it was fairly simple, not many icons. Cycle 2 does increase the number of icons in Aeon Trespass. For this, it seems like we've got a lot more icons, material rules to manage straight from the start. Okay, so there's a notice board, there are mercenaries, there's a scouts guild, there's a mercenaries guild, a merchant workshop. So yeah, it has this kind of like medieval RPG fantasy environment. And then when you go to an encounter or a battle, you just shift all your people over here and you're ready to go. And again, folks, there's a lot here. There's a lot on this screen, and this is just the prototype. So wow. All right, folks, I might wrap it up here because diving deeper into stuff that I don't know about, I don't get anything wrong, but that's an initial first look for you. Hope this has been of interest. Now this is, so here is the game found page for Kingdoms Forlorn. So yeah, pledge has closed, but I believe they're getting close to fulfillment. So keep your eye out throughout 2025 because this will be coming, I expect, probably late 2025. Am I being realistic, or is that still optimistic? So they've got some production samples here, pledge manager. Apparently you can still access it. There's some of the miniatures, and yeah, no word on fulfillment dates that I saw. But I believe this is going to be their next focus. All right, folks, so that is Kingdoms Forlorn, Dragons, Devils, and Kings. Thank you for watching, and take care. Bye for now.